Pressing onward. Steering wheel puller, like I said. Take it, line it up, put it over top of 2 holes, run your bolts through. These are the bolts that come with the steering wheel puller kit, and it works great. You have a washer that sits behind the nut that goes on the shaft, the output shaft with the splines. Here we have our splines. Everything looks to be in order. It's a little dirty, so I'm going to spray some of Nature's Best parts cleaner, otherwise known as the shit with the VOCs. It's terrible for the environment. Brake Clean! Napa brand, of course, CRC. Just going to run it through. I'm going to try not to spray it on the face because I don't want to mess up my paint indication marker right there. And again, everything looks good from the back side. Sorry. Just some gunk, so we're going to take that, clean it up. And I stole some rags from the good old pantry. And when I get back in over there, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pull the seal, and then I'm going to wipe in here, or I'm sorry, wipe in where the seal sits with paper towel. Only because sometimes shit from the rag can mess everything up, kind of help start the leak again. So with that, stay tuned. Give me 1 second, bear with me, and we'll be right back. Well, Daddy didn't raise no dunce. Let's put it this way. I cleaned this all out. Even though the splines look good, this looked a little crummy right here. This is the lip that actually sits inside of your output shaft seal. There's rubber right here that'll sit inside of, so you'll see like that. And it was all rough and nasty, so I took a piece of steel wool and smoothed it all out. The reason being is much akin to having sandpaper sit there and rub up against your skin, or even rub up against paint, let's say, is that if that's all rough and nasty there, you can only imagine how kind that's going to be to that rubber lip that helps seal your fluid inside of your transfer case. So with that being said, I have the seal puller, and I have to come up with and or devise a seal installer for this. I'll either just cut a hole into a piece of wood that the shaft in the center can fit into, or I'll just use a big socket and a rubber mallet and take care of it from there. So with that being said, stand by and we'll take you to the truck, and I will show you how to put this all back together. And we're back. Okay, so I take it you know what you're doing here. You got the seal puller. That's going to go in there. You're going to get it behind that lip. This is a fun one to do when you got one hand on the job. Oops. Well, anyway, you get the gist. I got to put this down while I do this, and stand by. I'll be right back. And we're back. Much akin to my reputation amongst my friends and family, the bull in the china closet adage still lives true. And I put a small little bit of a gouge in there, and by small I mean it's a little bit. Might also have been picking at the snap ring, but I think it's all right. It's good enough for the girls that I go out with. I'm gonna slam a seal back in there and get moving with it. If I'm that worried about it, you know, in a couple of days I'll come back in here and I will, well, for lack of better words, I'll just bite up a freaking snap ring and have to replace it. But I think it's okay. With that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and see this rubber washer, I'm gonna lay some RTV over it just to help seal, because this is partly a seal and partly a bracing aspect for the yoke for shock absorption. So I'm going to take a little bit of RTV, put it there. I'm going to put a little bit of it just around the edges here on the outside, just to help with sealing everything. I'm going to run some RTV in my gouge here. I've cleaned all the oil out of here. As we all are pretty much well aware, RTV and oil don't mix in order for it to cure. It needs to be a mostly, if not completely, oil-free surface. So I'm going to RTV that. I'm going to run a little ring of RTV over top of our seal right here. Oops, there we go. on the outside lips. And I'm going to press her in. So hang tight. I'll get right back with you. Anyway, now we're back. As you can see, everything's back together. So, had a little bit of lip of RTV that smoothed out, if you will. Once I got everything all nice and flush, so I just ran my finger around it, made a nice lip, pushed in what I could inside of here. And I just took a rag and wiped off the excess. From here, like I said, I'm going to RTV right here, put my slip yoke on, tighten her down. Or not slip yoke, but put my yoke back on and tighten her down, and then we'll be good to go. Fill her up with some fluid. I'm going to let it cure overnight, though, seeing as it's already late here anyway, and I don't have any fluid with me. Not saying you have to, or anybody for that matter has to, but that's just what I'm going to do, just to make sure that everything's good and cured. One thing I will mention, hopefully you haven't started the process of putting it all in. My lovely marred surface here. It's a little bit unflush right there. I might have to push that in some more. Make sure that your seal is facing the right direction. If not, gonna leak like a fucking banshee rooster. So with that being said, I'm gonna finish up, stick everything together, head home, come back tomorrow, fill her up, take her for an alignment. Thank you for watching.